All right, let's get to the bottom of what's going on with the Eagles and welcome back the Hall of Famer, Ray Didinger, to Philly Pressbox Radio. Ray, the only thing I know to do to start is to give the game ball to the punter. That's all we got.
Pretty much. It was a pretty thorough beatdown, and I was enjoying the open to the show here because it was a look back at all the great moments in Philly sports. This was a week that a look back at that is very welcome.
Oh, man. Ray, let's start with this. What grade would you give the coaching job done Monday night by Nick Sirianni?
F.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, 3 rushes by running backs. I didn't buy his explanation the other day about the RPO calls, and, well, they could have been running plays, What the heck went wrong? And, why don't they just give the ball to Miles Sanders once in a while?
They should. I don't know. We've seen some wacky play calling over the years, but I've never seen anything like that, where you play 60 minutes of football and the running backs carry the ball 3 times. I mean, Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell, I don't even think they had a shower. I mean, they just they just took off the uniform, got on the airplane, and came home. I mean, it was just it was very silly. And I thought that Sirianni's now had a couple of opportunities to try and explain it after the game and then at his press conference yesterday. And I've heard him give his answers, and I still don't know what he was thinking. I mean, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. There's almost no way. I mean, they run the football more in arena football than what they ran at Monday down in Dallas. I mean, I never thought I would say that or see that, but that's kind of what it is. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it. It made no sense. I mean, on a night when, to put it in its simplest terms, on a night when you're a young quarterback who's still, let's face it, he's trying to figure it out himself, and he was clearly having an off night, and he was struggling big time. A good play calling coach takes some of the pressure off him by running the football and putting him in good situations. You're not helping anything by taking a harried, young, confused quarterback, putting him in the shotgun and making him throw the ball on every play. I mean, that's not helping anything. And so I have to believe that Nick Sirianni, with an opportunity now to look back on that and look at the statistics and look at his play calls, I mean, he has to be saying, oh, what was I thinking? But, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens coming up this week. I mean, this will be easy. It's only the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes coming in off 2 straight losses. So this will be a piece of cake.
Well, Ray, what I thought watching the game as it unfolded in the second quarter, they got hammered in the first quarter defensively. They couldn't stop anything, and I thought Sirianni panicked. I think he thought, my defense is in trouble. They can't stop them. We got to get into a run and shoot offensive game with these guys and start throwing the ball over the place, and basically threw his game plan out the window before he ever started it.
Seemed like it. I mean, that's kind of the way he tried to explain it away. I don't agree with that. I don't know. The way the Eagles are set up right now with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback, they're not going to win a shootout with anybody with him at quarterback. I mean, it's not. I mean, you can play shootout football if you've got Mahomes. You can play shootout football if you got Rodgers. But at this point in his career, you ain't winning a shootout with Jalen Hurts. And so just the idea that, well, okay, that's the way we'll go, I don't think it's improving situation. First of all, I think it's sort of negative thinking to just in the game just say, our defense, we're overmatched. We can't play with these guys. So let's just try and outscore them. Well, you're not sending a very confident message to your defense. That's number one. And the other thing is, there's another way of trying to deal with that kind of a situation. If you really do think the other team is that explosive and that dominant on offense, then when you have the ball, grind it.
Hold the ball. Right.
Control the clock. Keep the other team's offense off the field. Keep the score down. The Eagles aren't a team that's built to outscore anybody the way they look right now. So trying to play behind their defense, close to the vest, run the football. I mean, how many real big-time playmakers does this team have? Not too many. I mean, Miles Sanders might be their best weapon. So you're not helping yourself any week, regardless of the opponent, by freezing him out of the play calling. You know, you're not. That's not a formula to win, regardless of who your opponent is. Now, the same thinking moving forward. If they thought the Dallas Cowboys were explosive, what do they think about the Kansas City Chiefs?
Right.
You know? I mean, this might be a week where they're just going to tell Miles Sanders, take the week off. We're going to throw on every down, so you really don't even have to be here. Just kick back, watch this one on TV, and you'll catch up with us next week. If you think the Cowboys were explosive, well, guess what? Guess who's coming to town this week? Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Oh, that'll make things better.
Yeah, right. It could be ugly. Ray, we're going to interrupt the football talk for a second because we got a guest who wants to pop on. He claims to be related to you. I don't know. You know this guy?
Oh, he looks familiar.
David, how are you, man?
Well, this guy here has been a previous guest on your show.
What's happening?
Yes.
Yeah, last February. He's got a bad connection. He's in beautiful Cincinnati for that big Jags-Bengals game tonight. I'm sure the excitement level is sky high out there, David.
So fans out here are excited. I doing what I do. I love doing it, and it doesn't matter where it is. I'll go anywhere to do it.
So do you have an assignment for tonight, a specific guy you're watching, or what do you got going on?
No, just normal top camera, game action. Very basic night, good night, nice, beautiful night. So for a good game, and just hope for a good game.
There you go.
Hey guys, this is the first time we've had the two of you together. And Ray, I finally got around to reading half of your book the other day. And right there on page 2, you mentioned David Didinger. And we talked to him last February about it on the 3rd-year anniversary. But I got to show this just one more time.
It is a long time coming. David Didinger, who is who shoots for, there we go. That's a beautiful thing. A beautiful, beautiful thing. Oh my goodness.
It was just, it's everybody that didn't have a chance to see this. I mean, my grandparents, my mom's parents, my Uncle Kevin. I mean, everybody that said this wasn't possible. And I've waited 44 years, and I swear I thought I'd never see this day.
Yeah,
and
but you did.
I'm a diehard Eagles fan, diehard Flyers fan, diehard Phillies fan, and Philadelphia, just enjoy this because I don't know when it's going to happen again, but boy, this is sure fun tonight.
To be able to share this with my son is it's beyond special.
Pretty good idea by Michael Barkan to do that on camera, wasn't it?
It was really inspired. I didn't plan that. And when he said that this is what we're going to do, I tried to talk him out of it. But as it turned out, it was really a beautiful moment. And the people back in the city that watched it, and Lord knows thousands upon thousands of people saw it. What they all said, and I got emails, I think, from all of them, was that's what was happening in our house. That's what was happening with our family. At that moment, that night, that game, that victory meant so much to the people of this city. And nobody watched the game alone. Everybody was watching it with family, and everybody was having that sort of way of celebrating. So in a way, by David and I doing what we did there, we were kind of avatars for the Philadelphia fan base. I mean, we kind of, when we put our arms around each other, we were kind of putting our arms around the whole Delaware Valley. And I know I still hear about it. People still talk to me about it, how much that meant to them and how much they remember it. And I know David's told me he hears the same thing.
Sure.
Yeah, that night was awesome. It was one of those deals, like my dad said, it's, my dad's not a look at me kind of guy. And when Michael Barkan said that, when this is going to happen on air, I mean, I knew my dad was going to try to stop it because it wasn't that, we didn't want that to happen on TV because it was a moment for me and him. But the way it worked out, and just like you said, the way the city responded to it and everybody's reaction to it when I got back. When I landed in Philly the next day at the airport, just what people at the baggage claim were saying. It was just a night that I was unexpected, and I'm glad it happened, and I'll cherish that moment forever.
Hey, Ray, I want to ask you, when we were talking to David, when we had him on the show, he told us what his responsibility was in the Super Bowl, and that he was the Philly guy. How does the Hall of Fame dad feel about the son with a Hall of Fame moment there, maybe the greatest moment in Philadelphia Eagles history, and your son captured it?
It is. Well, I'm proud of David. I've been proud of David forever, and I'm proud of him for a million things. But that was really special that night, and everything about that week, everything about that game, everything about that win was so wonderful and so great. But the real capper was that the biggest moment that everybody will remember, Philly, was preserved forever for everybody by NFL Films with the wiring of Nick Foles. And David got it. I mean, it was David's shot. And I remember telling him that night, I said, what happened tonight and what you did tonight, it's beyond, this is history. This game and that moment, probably the most famous, it'll go down as the most famous play call in Super Bowl history. And people saw it and people know about it because of you. And it's going to be played on a loop at the Pro Football Hall of Fame for your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren are going to be able to come here and see it. I mean, the Eagles made history tonight, but people only know about it because of you. It was a great moment and was captured by a great sports photographer.
Hey, David,
well said. Well said.
He's right. David, I don't know how much time you have with us tonight, but what do you make of this Eagles season so far? And do you think they can turn it around? We'll let you run after that. What do you think?
It's hard to say. First-year coach, really a first-year quarterback. I'm not expecting too much. I know Philadelphia doesn't win years, but Dallas did look pretty good. If they stay even relatively healthy, I think they'll win the division. I don't know. I think the Eagles really have to get themselves an identity. They can't let teams just walk down the field like they did the other night. I mean, I look at it sometimes, and I said to a couple of the guys, we were working the Flyers game the other night, and we were sitting having dinner, and I said, when was the last time anybody really sat down and said, boy, Fletcher Cox played awesome last night? I think he needs to step up. Hargraves is making a little bit is going to have a pretty good season, because I know Fletch does get double teamed a lot, but they run 40 running plays. You kind of have to. I mean, Fletcher's got to make at least one tackle. I don't know. I don't know, and the offensive line has to stay healthy, and we'll see what happens with Hurts. But I did not like what I saw the other night. It was embarrassing. So I think the worst part of the night was the fact that the coach was wearing Beat Dallas stuff all week. And when was the last time you saw? When was the last time you saw Belichick and Bruce Arians and these guys wearing that kind of stuff? You don't need to motivate your players and tell them it's a rivalry. If the players don't know that it's a rivalry and they need to get up for every game, then they're in the wrong business. I don't need my coach to wear a Beat Dallas shirt to get me hyped for a Dallas game.
No, I think that when I saw him do that, my thinking was, this can't possibly help your team. It may fire up the other team, but it's not going to make your team play any harder. It's not going to make your guys play any better. This can only hurt. This can only give more motivation to the other side, because that picture, that image of him wearing the shirt at the press conference went up on the bulletin board in Dallas. And you can say all you want about, come on, these guys are pros, bulletin board stuff that goes out with high school. No, it doesn't. The mentality of football players doesn't really change that much. And I always used to kind of laugh at the idea of that kind of motivation and pep talks and stuff. But the fact of the matter is, those buttons are still there and they can be pushed. And when the head coach of the other team goes on camera wearing that shirt, it can't help. Okay. And so now the one good thing is, you're hoping, and I think David's right. I think this whole year is about learning. It's about Jalen Hurts learning. It's about Nick Sirianni learning. It's about us learning about them if they're up to the task. But I think Nick showed that he's learned a little bit, because when he met the press yesterday, he was not wearing a shirt that said "Beat the Chiefs." So if he took nothing else out of this game, he did learn that lesson.
One thing I wanted to throw at you guys, when you look at the first half stats, that's what I looked at it when the game was actually a game before the second half didn't matter. 19-3 in first downs favor of the Cowboys. And the Eagles had 30 yards rushing at the time, 27 of them by Miles Sanders on his 2 carries. Those were his only 2 carries. 5 carries total in the first half and 3 first downs. I mean, it was just an absolute beatdown in that first half.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they got dominated. They got dominated at the line of scrimmage. Cowboys' offensive line was really good. And I think what people don't really understand, but probably should pay attention to, is that, Dak Prescott gets the headlines because he throws 3 touchdown passes, and he played really good. He did. But the Cowboys won that game by running the ball. Their whole passing game worked off of the run. That's where the game was won, at the line of scrimmage, and they won it with Zeke and they won it with Pollard, because then they were able to do everything off play action, and they had the Eagles defense off balance the whole night. So, you can say the Cowboys threw 3 touchdown passes, but I'll tell you, they won that game by running the football. And the Eagles lost that game by not running the football. I mean, that might be an oversimplification, but I really do think that there's a lot of truth in that. And if Sirianni and the rest of his coaching staff want to take any one lesson away from that game, it's look at how the Cowboys won, look at how they dominated, and look at how the run set up the opportunities in the forward pass.
Mm-hmm. Hey, David, I know you got a game to cover. Let's let you get on your way and go cover that Bengals Jacksonville Jaguars game, and we'll talk to you again in a few months.
You got it. I'm glad to be part of you guys. See you later, Pop.
Take care, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
And I think
Well,
right
that
to
was
your
quite
point,
a surprise.
Yeah,
Good.
that was a setup, buddy. To your point about the stats and the 3 touchdowns, the same goes for Jalen Hurts throwing for 300 yards. So misleading of a stat.
Oh yeah.
That's why I look at those halftime stats when it was supposed to be a game. Jalen Hurts 300 yards is very misleading.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's I don't like the term, but sometimes it applies. It was garbage time. I mean,
Right.
everything that happened in the second half, everything that kind of happens after the pick 6 is really, the game's kind of over at that point. No, the Eagles got thoroughly dominated. I mean, if you look at the stats, you say, well, he threw for 300 yards. But if you look at the tape, you say, oh man, he was all over the place. One of the things that you see with him is, there's a lot I like about him. I like his attitude. I like his approach. I think he's a tough kid. I think he really wants to be good. But he's got so many things he has to improve on. I mean, he certainly has to improve his accuracy. And the other thing he has to improve is he's falling back into what he was even before Oklahoma. I'm talking about Alabama, which is where he is a one look and go guy. I mean, he gets the ball in his hands. He takes one look at one receiver. If he doesn't like what he sees, he's running. And and if you're going to play quarterback in the NFL any length of time and win games, you have to have more patience than that. And I know right now he doesn't have much confidence in his offensive line, especially with the way guys are going down. But he has to get past that, or the coaches have to coach him past that. But he's got to hang in there and play the quarterback position. He can't go in there and just try and run around and make plays, because at this point in his career, he's not capable of that. And so this is the challenge that the coaches have to face is, they've got to coach him into a situation where, okay, that's not there, look here. If that's not there, you look here. And okay, if at that point it's breaking down, then get out. But don't take one look and take off running, because, you can talk about a quarterback ran for 82 yards in this game. Okay, does that make us a good team? No, I'll tell you it doesn't. You got to incorporate everybody in the offense. And, I fully expect this week, after everything that's been said and all the conversation about the play calling and all, Miles Sanders is going to get his touches this week because that's all these guys have been hearing about. And it's also pretty smart approach because I don't know that they don't match up with the Chiefs, and I can't imagine that they're going to beat the Chiefs. But the one thing they have to do is they do have to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. And the only way they can do that is by running it. And the only way they can run it is with Miles Sanders.
Ray, it's going to get ugly these next few weeks. Possibly they're going to be underdogs probably the next 4 weeks. So we could be looking at 1-6, but enough about that. I want to ask you about two other things. That, of course, is your book and Tommy and Me. First of all, love the book. Love seeing all the old names that you mentioned too. Gary Ballman, Happy Feller, Pete Lisk, brings back a lot of memories, mostly bad memories, but still, what the heck?
Yeah, well, those were my early years covering the team as the beat guy for the old Philadelphia Bulletin. And, that was how it started for me. And, yeah, writing those chapters, Chet, was a real walk down memory lane for me.
And you made $100.25 at your first job, and then got a raise up to $150 when you went to the Bulletin.
Yep, $100.25. Don't forget that quarter. That was how I started the Delaware County Daily Times.
Yeah.
And then I was there for almost exactly 1 year, and then the Philadelphia Bulletin came in and offered me $150 to go to 30th and Market Street and write sports, which is really what I wanted to do all along anyway.
Yeah.
So, Ray, as far as the book, I know the season comes, you're really busy. You having any book signings coming up anytime soon, or how can people get your book?
Well, the first printing pretty much sold out. So they had to order a second printing, and that's in now, and that's in stores. So Amazon, who was out of books for a while, now has books. So I know a lot of people do their book shopping on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and you call up and you enter my name and the book title, it'll pop up and it will say in stock. So you can order it and you'll get it within 24 hours. And most bookstores, most of your big, Barnes and Noble-ish bookstores, they have it in stock now too. I've done a couple book signings and they've gone really well. I got a couple more coming up. Morristown, New Jersey, and North Wales, Pennsylvania. Those will be in November. So just keep looking. They'll be out there.
Love it.
All right.
Love it. And the other thing, Ray, Tommy and Me is back after a hiatus last year, thanks to COVID. We got Tommy and Me coming back next week. I know rehearsals are underway. How's it looking?
It's looking good. It's looking good. We've got 3 of the 4 actors are back. The only one we had to change is the child actor who plays the 9-year-old me. We had the same kid for the 4 years that we ran before, and doggone it, he grew up. And he no longer looks nor sounds 9 or 10 years old. So we had to go find another child actor, and we found a kid who's really good. He's a real pro, and he's made movies with Will Smith and Helen Mirren and stuff like that. So he's fallen into that role seamlessly. And yeah, we're moving to a new theater this year. Chet, when you came, it was at the Fringe Arts Theater in Philadelphia. We also had one run at the Media Theater in Media, PA. And this time we're going to be at the Delaware Theater Company, which is a really lovely theater in Wilmington, right down by the riverfront. And it's a great place. It's a great house, and tickets are selling really well. So we open on October the 6th. And we run through the 17th. It's 14 total performances. And we're going to do the same format that we did when you saw it before, Chad. We're going to do the play, and then after the play, we're going to have a Q&A with the cast and the audience. People can ask questions. And we have some really good hosts coming in to be part of the Q&A. We've got 2 of Tommy McDonald's sons are coming in. Chris and Tommy Jr. are going to come in to talk about their dad, which is going to be great. Glenn Macnell, my radio partner, he's going to host one night. Herb McGee, the basketball coach who just announced that he's retiring, he's going to come one night, so I'm sure people want to talk to him. And I just got confirmation today that on the very last show, the October 17th show, when we close it down, our talkback host at the end is not going to be none other than Jim Gardner from Channel 6.
Oh, wow.
He had wanted to do it before, but the timing just didn't work out. So I talked to him again, and he said, this time I'm going to be there. So as closers go, I'll take Jim Gardner over Hector Neris.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Ray, before we let you go, because we used up all our time already, you're going to make an Eagles prediction for us at this point?
For this Sunday, that one's easy.
Well, I know that
you're
one.
talking about for the season.
For the season.
I went on record as saying 8 wins, 8 and 9. And I still think they could do that. I mean, this part of the schedule is just brutal. I mean, it really is. I mean, Chet mentioned 1 and 6. They could be. I mean, that's not out of the question. I mean, they're going to be big underdogs in all of these games. But you look at the back end, you get to December, you got the Jets, and then you finish out playing all the teams in your division, and I'm not so sure any of them are that good. So I said 8, and I'll stick with 8. But this Sunday, I don't see any way the Eagles can play with the Kansas City Chiefs, especially a Kansas City team that's coming in here off 2 straight losses and really, really needs this game to get their season back on track. So, I think Sunday could be a pretty long day.
I agree.
Well, Ray, thanks again for coming by. You're a busy man, and we certainly appreciate you joining us as always. Is Ray still our leader in the clubhouse, Chet?
Yeah, I believe this is appearance number 18, Ray.
Yeah,
but
good. David's closing in on me, I think. Well, that was great. I really enjoyed seeing David, and I didn't even realize he was shooting the game tonight. So okay, that was cool. But thanks very much, and I love being with you guys. And you want me to come back and do a return visit? I'm always here for you.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Mention, we published on social media or promoted on social media that David would be on, but I know you don't go on social media, so you didn't.
No, I'm the only person who didn't know.
Everybody else knows.
That is funny. Well,
And
thanks
belated,
a lot, guys.
Happy 75th, belated. Thank
you, Chet. I appreciate that.
Happy birthday.
Take care. See you, Bill.
All right, Ray. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.